Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Zenitton, and welcome to today's video for Legends of Runeterra. Today we got the first champion reveal. And like a lot of people guessed after yesterday's reveals, we have Kennen. Kennen is a pretty sweet champion, very small champ uh, in terms of the stats and the cost. Multi-region champ too, as most Yorls are. Vandal City and Ionia, I believe. And also, like a lot of people thought, he is recall synergistic. Pretty cool card. Not really my style though, but he seems pretty nice and powerful. So let's go take a look at him and talk about him a bit. Why not? Okay, Kennen. Kennen is a 1 mana 2/1 with quick attack. Also a Yordle. Not even sure why they really had the Yordle tag. It's not like they've added Yordle synergy, but who knows in the future, maybe. Also, like I said earlier, Vandal City Ionia multi-region, so that's pretty nice. When Kennen is summoned, he creates a Mark of the Storm in hand. Mark of the Storm is a 0 mana fast spell. Also fleeting, very important to remember. Grant an enemy Mark of the Storm. If they already have it, remove the mark to stun and deal 2 to them instead. We'll talk more about this later after we get done, as we keep talking about Kennen. To level up Kennen, you need to summon the same ally 5+ times this game. Now, here's the problem with that level up condition. It's a little nebulous as to exactly what constitutes as summoning the same ally. Does it count 2 different cards as the same ally if they're the same card? Like if I summon one Eye of the Dragon and then another Eye of the Dragon, does that count as summoning 2 Eye of the Dragons? Does this count the blades getting summoned from Blade Dances? I assume it summons Dragonlings from Eye of the Dragon too, so a little bit of clarification is going to be needed there for Kennen for his level up, but he seems pretty solid for a level up. Most importantly, he can level up in the deck. Doesn't need to see you summoning that same ally over and over. So very, very good thing. Also, works well with the whole like recall package he's got going. Now, what does leveled up Kennen do? A lot actually. 1 mana 3/2 quick attack. Okay, pretty standard, pretty expected. Gets +1/+1. Now, when Kennen is summoned or blocked, or he attacks, he gets a Mark of the Storm. So he's going to be creating Mark of the Storms like crazy. Is this good? I like Mark of the Storm. 0 mana fast spell that stuns is pretty sweet. Fleeting is a little bit meh. I don't like that it has fleeting. I understand why it doesn't have fleeting, because if this card had fleeting, it would be really annoying. It's kind of like I get it. They don't want you to just hold it there and be like, I have all these 0 mana stuns, so you're never going to be able to attack properly. So it's like use it or lose it kind of thing. But yeah, I kind of wanted to try and build control Kennen with say like Karma or Lee Sin or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, as in a vacuum, Kennen seems pretty solid. 1 mana 2/1 is a solid stat line for a 1-drop. Quick attack is a very, very powerful keyword. 1 health is a little low. Sure, some 1 health champs still see play. Things like Zoe and Teemo still see play. Even though we're in a meta of Make It Rains and Pokey Sticks. And also, Kennen himself is definitely going to be in a deck full of protection spells with recalls and so on and so forth. So I think Kennen's solid overall. His champion spell. Champ spell is Lightning Rush. 3 mana fast spell. Recall an ally to deal 2 to anything. This spell I've gone back and forth on. At first I was like, this spell is trash. And now I'm at, this spell is busted. I don't think it's like busted in that it needs a nerf, but I think this is a really strong spell, but only for the recall deck. So this card might be a card we will see a lot of if the recall deck gets there, or we won't see it at all if the recall deck doesn't get there. Because outside of recalls, this card kind of sucks, right? Like, if you're not doing anything with recall synergy, this card is kind of mediocre. In theory, what you will do is your opponent will try to remove your unit. You'll play Lightning Rush, and you'll kill something of theirs while protecting your own unit and getting rid of the card. It's like you trade Lightning Rush for the removal spell and the and a unit on their side of the board, and you get to replay that unit, which in the recall deck probably has a reason to want to be replayed. So that's really, really nice. And it helps level up Kennen, kind of. So, in my opinion, Lightning Rush in a vacuum looks great, especially for the recall deck. The problem is, I'm not sure if Kennen or recall in a more general sense will be a viable meta deck, but I really like Lightning Rush. Now, let's go and talk more about Kennen himself, because we were just rambling about Lightning Rush, which it's sort of talking about Kennen. It's his champ spell. But yeah, Kennen. How to pair him up? The best way, like unironically, the best way I think, or the best deck for Kennen is not even going to be a recall deck, unless like Ari. I feel like we are going to be waiting on Ari and seeing what Ari does. But for now, with the cards that have been revealed so far and the cards we have already, I think the best way to play Kennen is take the Slug, that 2-mana 2/3 that has a tune. It's a Bilgewater Bandle City card. Put it in Bandle Tree deck. And then you remove Fizz, and then you put in however many Kennens you need to replace the amount of Fizzes you took. Because in my opinion, Kennen is a little bit better than Fizz in the Bandle Tree deck. Like, sure, the elusive stuff is nice, and the counterspell thing is nice, but I don't know. I kind of like Kennen more. I feel like some players who are better than me will probably do some math and be like, oh, it's like on average, you get off a Bandle Tree 1 turn faster with Kennen or with Fizz or whatever, or it's no difference and it's personal preference or something. Those are smarter people than me. Now, what is probably going to be played now, like what is probably intended for Kennen is some kind of like weird aggressive deck. But I don't think that's all that will be played for Kennen. Like a 1/2 or 1-mana 2/1 quick attack is insanely good stats to start off with in an aggro deck or just an aggressive deck in general. Like we've seen Zed, right? Like early quick attack units really hurt the board. So maybe like Kennen Zed can be a thing. Kennen's in Bandle City, so Kennen Poppy maybe. He's a multi-region card, so he can go with Tristana as well. He seems to have a lot of potential decks lined up. Who knows how many of them will be viable, though, but it does seem like there's a lot of decks to try out Kennen with. Even ones that are not necessarily recall dedicated. Because a 1-mana 2/1 quick attack is fine, in all honesty. But yeah, personally for me, I'm going to be trying Kennen in some kind of like Eye of the Dragon, more control-y mid-range kind of thing, and using Eye of the Dragon's generated Dragon Links to try and level up Kennen, get some insane value with the Mark of the Storms after you level up Kennen. That's my game plan. Maybe like a Kennen Karma, Kennen Lee Sin, Bandle City, Shellfolk control deck. Kind of like the sound of that idea, actually, now that I think about it. But yeah, so like assuming Blade Dances or the blades from Blade Dances work, you could maybe do Irelia Cannon. The problem with Irelia Cannon is you kind of maybe lose a Zir unless you do like a weird 2/2/2 split or 2/1/3 or whatever kind of split. You don't have to cut Shurima completely because Kennen is Ionia, and you could do like Irelia and Kennen and have Kennen be Ionia and then still play Emperor's Deus or something. But losing out on Azir and Blade Dance feels a little bad, but Azir takes so long to level up nowadays after the nerfs, so yeah, maybe it would be good. And this does level up Kennen. Like Azir Irelia was fairly aggressive, but it wasn't that aggressive. Irelia Cannon sounds even more aggressive, in all honesty. Like you play Irelia Cannon, you play I mean, if you want to be in Bandle City, you'll have what? Gust Monks, Tornado Warriors, the lightning rush as well, quicken. So maybe it's good enough. Maybe Kennen is good enough and Vandal City is good enough to not even need Shurima for a Blade Dance deck. I'm not really a Blade Dance kind of guy, but I'll definitely be trying it out myself. So yeah, very powerful deck ideas with Kennen. We got one more page though. We got a couple more cards to look at. Some more synergistic cards with Kennen. Let's take a look at them real quick. We already talked about Lightning Rush, so we got to talk about Ember Monk and Risu. I'll be honest with you, I'm not really impressed by either of them. Ember Monk, 4 mana 3/3 with quick attack. Also Yordle. When you summon another ally, grant me +1/+0. It's a permanent buff, that's nice, but it feels a little slow. Like, Ember Monk with Blade Dance does seem cute, don't get me wrong. But I don't know, like, maybe you can even try and do, Sand Soldiers, like Azir Kennen, and not even use Blade Dance, but use more Sand Soldier oriented. That's a hard word to say over and over. And while 3 health is not the greatest amount of health, it's not that bad. Like, it's not hard to remove thanks to things like Buster Shot, Ravenous Flock. It's not terrible. It's not 2 health. In other words, not dying to Avalanche or Mystic Shot is pretty solid, but I'm just not too excited about this card. Quick Attack's a good keyword, though. I will say that again. Next card, though, Risu, the Silent Storm. 5 mana, 1/1, a Yordle. If you look at the stats alone, yeah, awful card. But that's why we can't just look at card stats alone, because they usually have more text. When Risu is summoned, summon a Storm Cloud. Storm Cloud, as you can see on the right, is a 5 mana 7/3 with impact. So for 5 mana, we're getting an 8/4 worth of stats. So 12 stats for 5 mana. That's about what you expect for a good 5-drop. Actually, a little above average, I'd say, for an okay 5-drop, but stats aren't everything, right? Unless your name is like Unnerfed Badger Bear, I guess. Now, the problem is, while 8/4, 12 points of stats is a lot of stats for a 5-drop, the split is terrible. 1/1 on Risu is fine. You're not really playing Risu because of the stats. You're playing Risu. The idea, I assume, with Risu is you play Risu and you're supposed to recall Risu and replay Risu. The problem is the Storm Cloud. Sure, you can get multiple Storm Clouds by bouncing Risu around, but Storm Cloud 7/3, that's just so susceptible to not just removal, but getting chump blocked. It impact's a nice keyword, don't get me wrong, but 7/3? I don't know. I actually think this card is better defensively, in all honesty. Like, 7/3 for more aggressive decks is actually kind of tough for them to deal with. They like to use smaller, efficient removal, things like Make It Rain and Pokey Stick. Buster Shot and Ravenous Flock will still take care of it, though. But yeah, Mystic Shot doesn't get through it, so it will most likely trade with things. So I like that. So I do think in a more slower control, or even just more grindy mid-range Kennnen deck, maybe Risu is good, but definitely not for the more aggressive Kennen. Also, you can try, this is very cute, I don't think it's going to be good, but Risu is 5 mana. You can play like Risu and hope Risu doesn't die, and then next turn you play Mystifying Magician, the 4 mana 2/2 in Bilgewater that says when you play this card, transform an ally into a random 5-cost follower to turn Risu into something else. Also, because of Risu being in the 5 mana pool, Mystifying Magician's a little bit worse now, but it's not like anyone really played that card anyway outside of more fun-oriented decks. I talked about it a little bit when we first saw Minion, the killing, like self-slaying, self-killing kind of decks. Maybe this is not a terrible card for those decks. Like, you get a 5 mana 1/1 and a 7/3. It's kind of like a mid-game wing and wave, giving you 2 bodies. You use Risu to die while you have the Storm Cloud still to do whatever. Or you could use something like Chronicler to basically kill Risu, then resummon Risu and get another Storm Cloud. That's 2 Storm Clouds. The problem with that is if first off, if that kind of strategy ever becomes popular, people will kill Risu on sight, and it's not hard to kill Risu with 1 health, right? Pokey Stick, Make It Rain, Vile Feast, etc., etc. And I don't even think that's that strong of a strategy. Sounds fun, though. I will say that. Sounds fun. But yeah, I don't know. Like, what? Lightning Rush? Lightning Rush Risu is pretty cool. You block Lightning Rush, so you block whatever damage is coming through, unless they have Overwhelm, of course. And then you kill something else, and then Risu gets bounced back, and then you replay Risu. That seemed pretty good defensively, but not aggressively. Aggressively, that sounds awful. So while I'm not the biggest fan of Risu, I do think there's some cute plays you can do, but I just think it's a little too slow. And for the overall recall strategy, while I like it and it's very cute, I'm worried it's not going to be good enough because it seems really slow. Recall decks and recall strategies seem to always be like, okay, I'm going to take a lot of tempo hits and tempo loss in the early game to get a very strong mid to late game. And the game at the moment is so fast, but maybe Kennen can help offset the tempo losses from the recalls with, well, lightning rushes or maybe with the Mark of the Storm. Only time will tell. And of course, we might even only have half of the deck already because Ari may go really, really well with Kennen. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd love to hear any ideas you have about Kennen or any of these cards and your thoughts on them and what you think about them and how you would build some of these cards like Kennen as well. But yeah, I'd love to hear those ideas down below in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, of course, I'd love it if you could leave a like or a comment down below. And if you like the content and you would like to keep up with the Legends of Runeterra content, you can always go and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to watch me play some Legends of Runeterra, you can go and check me out over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Zenington, where I stream pretty much every single day. Anyway, though, with that all said and done, thank you all again once more for watching this video. And until I see you guys in the next one, bye!